What is up, you guys? It is Mike here, and in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys my top 8 Dogmatika Invoked deck profile. I recently just got a top with at a recent online tournament that I joined. And yeah, guys, I sorry that I'm kind of late to bringing this profile to you because I was actually supposed to upload this deck profile for you last week, but I got caught up with a few things I wasn't able to, and yeah, I just wanted to give you guys my deck profile and give you guys a overall look of the cards I brought, why I brought it, and all that stuff. And I do want to give you guys a quick disclaimer before we go in to the profile. This was a very small tournament. It was really that big. There was only like 18 players in total, and I did get top 8 in it. Because I actually lost to a mirror match when I got into top cut, so that was pretty tough for me, but it was a lot of fun regardless. And I wasn't actually also limited either to what I was able to bring, unlike some of the other tournaments that I've joined, and it was a lot of fun. I did really enjoy it. It was very exciting and celebrating. My tournament results were not much to go by. I only had like a 2-2 record in Swiss, so 2 wins and 2 losses. I forgot what my first round was, but my second round was Mystic Mind Burn. I think I did win that match, and my third round was against True Draco, which I also 2-0'd them pretty well. And my last match in Swiss was against Mirror Match, and that was really grindy, and I could have almost won if I played correctly, but I just lost the time because of the life point difference, so I wasn't able to close out that match, but it was still fun nonetheless. And then when I got into the top 8 cut, I lost to the mirror match because I didn't open up that well. He just opened absolute nuts, and which gave me really well, so that's kind of why I lost there. But regardless, I just want to give you guys the profile here to show you what the deck was like, how it performed, and all that stuff. So yeah, guys, I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So as you guys know, Dogmatika Invoked is a really big deck, and is really top tier in this current format. And I decided to bring this because it's just one of the cool control strategies that I wanted to go for right now, because I have not felt really inspired to play any of the other control decks I have, because some of them are just way too back row heavy, and I'm kind of feeling a little bit resilient and hesitant and bring a lot of back row heavy decks if I can protect them well, especially because of Harpy Feather Sets are coming back to 1. So that's kind of why I felt a little bit hesitant to bring those kind of decks to this tournament. So this is what I brought. It was a lot of fun. I'm not really used to playing meta top tier decks like this, but I just wanted to try out something new and see how well I can perform with it, and I'm kind of surprised how well this performed. And I probably wouldn't want to change too much about this deck because of how it performed. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So first cards that we're going to be talking about here is obviously Dark Magician and Red Eyes, with the Red Eyes Fusion, because obviously we're playing the Jagoon package, because this is one of my first place, and this is also giving me insurance that even if they disrupt me enough, I will still have follow-up plays to go by, regardless of how much they disrupt me, because it is really not that hard to make a Verte here in this deck, obviously. So I wanted to give myself some sort of insurance that I would have a follow-up play if they disrupt me too much, and to make my first turn, my going first board as impressive as it can be, because obviously Jagoon is just really broken. And then I played here 2 Floor Release. The reason being, I didn't really feel like I needed to max out on him, because 1, he's searchable, and 2, he is very specific on how he can be special summoned, because either you and your opponent have to have a monster summoned from the extra deck for this to come out on the field. And obviously, if you can compare this with Ecclesia, this just a free negate for your opponent when they do it, go into their own place. So if you time it very correctly during their main phase, you can negate stuff like Halcyon Frybrax, Link Cross, or any other shenanigans right now. And I didn't really feel like I needed to max out on this because regardless of that specific special summoning condition, he's not like super needed. And obviously he can get really big and can beat over most of your opponent's stuff fairly well. You probably can't walk over something like Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, being that he starts out at this card starts off at 2500. But he can still get really big regardless and close out games if you time it correctly. And next card we're going to be talking about is 3 Fantaco Dragon Phantasme. This is one of the hand traps I wanted to go for in this deck because it's a dark and it's also a dragon. And obviously it's an effect monster, so I mostly just use this for Verte fodder, and its effect to special summons on the field did come up a lot, and the targeting protection it offers also did come up a little bit. And obviously I just wanted to make sure that I can get rid of the bricks in my hand like Red Ice Fusion or the 2 other Dark Magician Red Ice cards in my hand as soon as possible. And this was just one of the ways that I can make sure that I can keep them in the deck and go off with my plays. And then obviously one of the best starters of the deck, 3 Ecclesia. This is super mandatory. It's one of the best cards in this deck next to Alistair because it's a free special summon with the same condition as Fleur de Lis, where either you or your opponent have to control a monster special summon from the extra deck, and you don't really care too much about it locking you from the extra deck, because as long as you can get off with your invoke plays, this can summon itself right away. And the fact that you're not really you're not really required or like obliged to go for its effect to add a Dogmatika card from deck to hand, it's also really good. I mean, obviously you will want to make use of that as much as you can to get cards like Dogmatika Punishment to your hand, but other than that, yeah, this could also just be Verte fodder, kind of like with the same combo that I think Slim YGO featured on his channel. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and do so, because that's kind of where I got inspired with some of my deck choices here. But yeah, it's really good. It's a free special summon, and it's your searcher of the deck, and it can really help you go off with your plays, especially if you can't draw into Alistair or do any of your other starting plays. And speaking of Alistair, I'm playing 3 of him because obviously he's a 1-card Merkaba, everyone loves him. It's really easy to get Invocation to hand, and obviously there are yeah, he is just, you know, one of the best starters of your deck. And also some people do forget that his search effect to add Invocation to hand can also trigger when he's flip face swap. So if worst comes to worst, if you're disrupted too much and this is all you have in your hand, and you're like locked out of like something like Red Ice Fusion, you could just set him, and when your opponent attacks into it, get that search off of him, and then boom, you already have your follow-up plays for next turn. So yeah, obviously this is why it's here, and it's just this card is just too much to deal with, because like oh my gosh, he's just the best starter that I can think of in this deck. And then for the rest of our hand traps, I'm playing 2 Ash because this is one of the most versatile hand traps right now going to this format. Some would argue that it isn't, but I still kind of feel that it is somewhat necessary in this deck. I was kind of thinking of switching this out for Droll because I was kind of expecting a little bit more meta decks going to this tournament, but apparently I did not really need Droll in my main. Because most of the decks I did not do that much searching, but other than that, Ash is just really good for that. Even though it's once per turn, and even though it's very specific on what it can hit, it's still really versatile, and I still really like it in this deck. And obviously the 3 Gamma and the 1 Driver is somewhat mandatory because negating and destroying your opponent's threats is obviously really good. And yeah, if you can like keep this on your field while you have like If you can keep this on your field while having um, uh, yeah, well, if you can keep this on your field during your turn, when you have to negate something, when you start your turn, it's obviously really good for that, and it's a really like just 2 free bodies on your board to do whatever like link plays that you want. So yeah, there's that. And that's it, guys, for the monsters. So we'll go and get into the spells. Obviously, 3 Nadir Servant is super mandatory. It searches out your Ecclesia, searches out your Flirteries, it searches out everything, and gets you the free props that you need from your extra deck when you want to set up your other place. I usually send Entis for popping sometimes with this, but in other cases, if I'm going first, I usually send cards like App Cologne for my extra deck to the grave to get that search off of a Shodal Schism to help push through with it that way. So obviously this isn't needed. Red Ice Fusion because of the Jagoon package. Terraforming because we want to search out Magical Meltdown. 2 Invocation. You don't really need to max out on this because it's searchable, and you don't really want to open up with this so much unless you already have like Alistair in your hand or something. So that's why this is here. And 1 Monster Reborn because it's just a really good extender and helps you go off with some of your plays if they disrupt you too much. So that's why it's here. 3 Forbidden Droplet because this is one of the best negation cards in this deck because it can out stuff like Jagoon, it can out Winda if you're going into a mirror match, and it can do so much other things. This is really versatile, and it can set up your grave as well for some other place later on. But other than that, yeah, this is just really versatile, and it's one of the best cards that I can think of going to this deck when you're going second. And then 3 Magical Meltdown, obviously to get the search off of Alistair and to go off with your invocation place. And that is it, guys, for these spells. So for the traps, I'm putting 3 Imper because obviously this is also really good. And until Crossout Designator actually gets a full TCG release, this card is just going to be really broken, and very few people are going to have outs to this. And this is why it's here. It's just one of the best hand traps in this format. 3 Dogmatika Punishment because I really wanted to make sure I have some sort of disruption whether I'm going first or second, and make sure that I can ensure that I have some follow-up plays when I go second, and make sure I have enough disruption to help, stop them from popping off really well. Because even in this format, going up against like Dragon Link or going against any deck that plays like a Needle Fiber combo is really good, and obviously this can get you set up really well to ensure that you can always have some sort of disruption during your opponent's turn if you can't get to like something like Floor Release to your hand. And then obviously the one Shodal Schism because it's searchable off of App Cologne, and it helps you make your Winda. Because Winda is just a really broken card. If your opponent doesn't have an out to it, it's almost like your win condition of the deck, because it is very hard for a lot of decks to only special summon once. So yeah, that's obviously why it's here. And that is it, guys, for the main deck. So for the extra deck here, it's pretty standard. I got 2 Macabre here because the negation is really important in this deck, and I really want to make sure that my going first place with Jagoon is as strong as it can be. So that's why I put this at 2. I kind of wish I had space here for Purgatorio as well, but I couldn't find the space to do so, so I kind of just cut him out and just put 2 Macabre because I really thought that negation would be really important, and apparently it did. And 1 Jagoon, I don't need to explain this. This is really standard and one of the most powerful cards in this game right now. And if you don't have the right outs to him in your main deck, this could just end games really quickly and can win you more games than you actually deserve. So that's why it's here. It's just that at present. And then the 1 Ash Dragon because it's also a free search off of your server during the end phase. So that's mostly why it's here. It's not really here much for anything else. And the 1 Agides because he's also really underrated in this deck, and he can get really big attack over cards like Jagoon, or even ensure that you get some sort of play with trying to get rid of their Jagoon or any other stuff. That's mostly why I just kept this here. And he can help close out games really well. And I almost could have won with this card in time if I just attacked the right monsters, but that's neither here or there, so I don't want to talk to you guys too much about that. But yeah, that's why it's here. It's really good. It's just one of the really good underrated Invoked monsters going into this deck, so that's why it's here. App Cologne, because I need more ways to be able to search Shadal Schism, and this is one of the only ways I could do so. I was also thinking of going for Construct as well, because I know some builds do use Construct, but I decided not to because I didn't really feel she was very effective in this deck when I was playtesting it, so I just took with one App Cologne and I did not miss Construct whatsoever, so I'm very happy about that. Then one window, because again, if your opponent does not have an active window, if you can make sure you can protect it well on the field, this is almost like your win condition of the deck, because not a lot of decks can deal with special summon only once per turn. And the two other entity Entis for the free pops, not much else to say, that's why it's here, and it's pretty standard in any extra deck. If you are sure that you're going to be going up against any Dogmatika matchup, so I would recommend keeping this at least at one if you really need it, or if not, you can just put something like this and like a Cyber Dragon Nova, so you can get a free Nakaba off of Nova. But other than that, I just wanted to go for two because I wanted to make sure I have more pops and more disruptions in this deck than anything else. And that's it, guys, for the fusions. So for the links, pretty standard. Well, Amaraj for Alistair, and then one Secure Gardener for same reasons. One Verte to make the Jagoon. One Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, because he's another name for Alistair, and this card is very underrated. You don't go to him as often as you need to, as long as you can keep Alistair on the field, but other than that, he's also very underrated, and some people do not really know how to make use of this card extremely well, and Slim IGO is one of the very few people that know how to make use of this. So if you just read this card really well and know how to play with it correctly, this could honestly be a really good extender as well. And then the one Access Code Talker, because I want to have more ways to close out games and ensure that I can get some sort of disruption going second and OTK really well, so that's why it's here, because it's really broken. And that's it, guys, for the extra deck. So the side deck here is also really standard, 3 Nibiru, because as long as I'm not going against any deck that can negate something like Nibiru, it's still really good. It's really good against Salad. I would argue it's somewhat okay against Dragon Link if they can't get their negation off on the fifth summon, so it's really good for that. And I know that some decks can play around this really well, so that's kind of why I decided it, because I didn't really need to. And if worse comes to worse, it is a light, so it gives you more Macabre fodder as well for that. And then 2 Kaijus here, so 1 Dogaran and then 1 Gamma Seal. Reason being because I wanted more reasons to be able to outcard some Jagoon, because going to this tournament, I really did think that since we were not limited to the cards that we were playing with, that more people would be playing Jagoon. So I wanted to ensure that I would have as much outs as I can against him to ensure that I could get rid of him very easily. And luckily it did not pop up as much as I wanted it to, but I just kept hearing the Psychos for that reason being, and I didn't really end up using it that much for those specific reasons. It did kind of help out in the mirror match when I wanted to get rid of the Kaba to push through Rip High Place, but other than that, they really do much for me, so there's that. And then the 1 Maximus, because I really did think that some people would be prepared against Maximus and would set up their extra deck correctly to combat against Dogmatika. Luckily they did it, and luckily I didn't really need to put this in the main because so many people are just prepared for this, so that's why I put this here, and I didn't really need to go up for it. And this honestly could have just been anything else now. And then for the spells here, 2 Lightning Storm and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, because I'm I'm really happy that Harvey's Feather Duster is back. And 2 Lightning Star because I wanted to have more ways against back row and respect them enough to, you know, have some outs to them. It did not help out as much as I want, and I honestly wish this could have been like Twin Twister because I could have also used something like Cosmic Cyclone, but I didn't really feel that that would be a optimal choice with all the time rules and everything. So that's kind of why I just kept it at 2 because I didn't really feel that it was that necessary, and it did help out really well. It did help out close out some games against some of the other decks I face, but other than that, they really do a whole lot. I probably would have just switched this for maybe like Twin Twister in the future. So yeah. Then 3 Triple T because it's okay. People would argue that this is one of the most broken cards Konami's released in recent memory, but I would argue that this is not as strong as what some people would say, especially if you're playing 3 copies like this, because I didn't really feel that I needed to main 3 or like sign in, or like going to games 2 and 3. I didn't really feel that I needed to put in 3 copies to switch on in the main deck because it's just really not that powerful from what I've seen and from how I used it. I know it has a really good condition and it's really easy to activate if your opponent does activate any monster effect. But other than that, not as powerful as some people would say. So that's kind of why I kept this here and the side because it's just not really that effective. Some people play at 1 in the main, some play it at 2. When I was going to games 2 and 3, I didn't really need to side in the 3 into the main deck because it's just not as powerful as I thought it would be. And then the last one here, 3 Dark Road No More, because I need more outs going second against really unbreakable boards with a lot of negation, and this was one of my only ways to do so. So obviously this is pretty standard, and this is why I kept this here because I need more outs to certain boards when I'm going second and make sure that I can follow up with my plays really well without having to be disrupted too much with their like multiple negations and stuff. But either way, guys, that is it for my deck profile for Dogmatika Invoked. I got top 8 at the online tournament I joined. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a really fun deck. I'm probably not gonna be playing this in another tournament because I'm just not into playing better decks like this all the time, but I just wanted to try out something new and see what it was like, and I'm happy with the way this performed. It's really cool. Making a window here is just really awesome, and going to some of these cards and making really good boards ending on stuff like Makaba, Jagoon, and Winda is just really badass for me, and I would definitely recommend that you guys give it a shot. If you guys can afford it in real life, I would definitely recommend you try to test it out yourself and see how you guys like it, because this is just one of the really cool decks that I thought I really wanted to go for here going to this tournament. But that is it, guys, for my deck profile. Definitely give this video a like if you liked it, dislike it if you don't, and share it with your friends so that they can get inspiration on how they want to make their build similar to mine. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's really good? Do you think it sucks? Are you planning on building it? And are you looking to trying out something new with a strategy like this? I would love to hear your thoughts and get a discussion going here. And if you guys do enjoy my content and do want to see more videos like this in the future or anything else in general, definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss out anytime I upload videos. And that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Sunrick45 signing off.